Hey everybody, what's going on? KSA Kris here, the Real Estate Blitz. And the last video I did was talking about getting a deal in the next 30 days. So it's really attacking turbo leads. Turbo leads is one of your marketing channels. There are four main big picture, high wave top marketing channels that you're going to hit. We've already talked about this before. It's going to be your turbo leads. That's going to be your drips. It's going to be your sphere, and that's going to be open houses. But we're going to start going into part two. Now, keep in mind, all of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about, I will be going back and individually talking about all of it. And eventually, if you look back, there's a video that I did on the 5 things that you need to be implementing right now into your time blocks that should be producing you money. However, today we're going to be talking about drip campaigns. When I talk about a drip campaign or anything like that, or drip leads, I'm really talking about stuff that are long burn, or it's going to take time to actually convert these people. In turbo leads, it's really you're communicating and talking to or reaching out and trying to reach somebody that needs to sell or buy a house right now, right? Ideally sell. They need to sell right now. So in order to find those types of people, there's going to be some type of a need. There's going to be something that happens. And I've talked about that pretty in depth, but we're going to go into that more later. I'll actually go through each one of those wickets that I mentioned. But today I want to talk about what is the long-term burn. What does that look like? Now you have to understand every type of lead that you get or opportunity that you get, it has a different process. There's a different thing that's going on. So if somebody walks into an open house, open houses are pretty hot because in 1 to 3 months, they're going to be looking to buy a house. If you talk about inbound leads off of Facebook or some type of ads or lead captures online, you're talking about really the earliest 6 months, 12 months, sometimes 18 months. So there's a lot of follow-up process. It takes time to actually get those people. So that's really what we're going to be talking about today is time. So inbound leads, when I say inbound leads or drips, inbound leads are probably your most productive, most profitable. Now that could be realtor.com, that could be Zillow, and I've talked about this on the Real Estate Blitz on past videos if you want to go look at them on my opinions on realtor.com and Zillow. You also have Facebook advertisements, you have paid ads, you have AdWords. I mean, there's a lot of different unique ways that you can do paid advertising, but at the end of the day, it's still going to accomplish a lot of the same stuff. It's some form of a lead capture. So inside KSA, we have listings to leads. It's another way of lead capturing. You got KCM, which is keeping current matters. I mean, there's a ton of different ways that you can do it. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that lead takes time. It takes nurturing. Okay, so you got to continue to communicate with them. You got to keep giving them information. You got to keep asking questions. You got to keep calling them. You got to keep texting them. You got to keep emailing them. You got to stay in front of them because when it comes to drip or long burn leads, it really is the fortune is in the follow-up. That's where all your money is. So inbound leads paid, that's one. Another one is direct mail. Direct mail is another long burn type setup to where if you start direct mail and you start doing direct mail campaigns, you can expect to burn through the first 3 months. You're really not going to get your true returns until you get to month 3. And then month 3 on is when people will actually start calling you because they start to recognize your brand, they start to recognize you, they see in their mailbox. So where a lot of people go wrong with direct mail is they'll send out a big batch and like, I just sent out 10,000 letters waiting for the call. My phone's going to melt. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. So you need to know that right up front so you aren't lying to yourself. You have to say, I'm going to send out 10,000 pieces of direct mail. I'm going to send 10,000 pieces of direct mail to the same list for the next 6 months, knowing that I'm not going to get any returns until really starting month 3. Month 3 is when you start getting the returns from that. Okay, so it takes time. Another one is social media. Social media is a great example of long-term, long burn, drip type stuff. Same thing. People are starting to get used to. You're adding value. You're reaching out to them. They see you in the groups. They see you talking. They see you communicating. They start realizing this guy helps people buy and sell real estate. So it takes time. Working on social media, and I see it and I hear it all the time. I hear it, and that's the worst. It really upsets me. Like, yeah, I got on, so I'm going to get on social media. I'm going to kill it. It doesn't work that way. If you need a deal right now, you do not look at things that are going to take time. Social media, you have to nurture it. You have to cultivate it. It's almost like planning. It's a form of farming. I don't know why I've never heard this. All you're doing is farming. Every one of these long burn things, farming, going out and actually working a farm, knocking on doors, dropping packages every month, letting the neighborhood know you're there, sending out flyers and neighborhood events. It's no different with all these other forms, whether it's paid advertising, whether it's a website, a lead capture, social media, direct mail. It is a form of farming. You're basically planting seeds, you're cultivating, right? You're watering, you're giving them information, it starts to grow, and eventually you start reaping the harvest, but it takes time. So I want you to understand that is your second big channel. that channel, if you set it up appropriately and you start getting, so example, like if you're bringing in just for inbounds, you're bringing in 40 opportunities per month. So let's do the math on this, all right, folks? So let's say you're bringing in 40 quality leads per month. Now, ideally, if you're paying and you're building it yourself, you should be bringing in a lot more than 40. But let's say you're on a team. Most teams are going to give you at least 40 leads for the split that's on there. Let's say you're bringing in 40 leads per month. Okay, we are going to expectation. High end, you're going to be looking to get about 5% return. Low end, you're looking at getting a 1% return. 3% is about the average on all of your long burn type stuff. So let's say you do 40 times 6, so over 6 months, it's 240 inbound leads. 240 minus 1%, you can expect 2.4 deals. But the thing is that keeps rolling on itself. See what I mean? And your percentages start growing quickly. So after you hit your 6 months, so that 240 plus you already rolled another 6 months into it, so that 240, if you're doing it right, oops, I did it wrong. Yeah, 240. So really, if you're at a 6% return, you're really looking at 14 deals. So 14 deals, potentially 28 deals per year by actually working the crap. And I mean, you got to work the crap out of these leads. You really, really got to work them. I'm going to go deeper into all of this, of course, but right now I'm just talking about the specific channels. I got 2 more channels to talk about after this video. One is going to be on open houses. I'm a huge fan of open houses right now in this market, and also sphere of influence. Once I get done with that, I'm going to double back and I'll start going down deep and dirty into the 5 big things that I've talked about already. If you haven't seen that video, it's episode number 5, episode 5 of KSA 6-figure. Go back and watch that one. But I'm going to start going really, really deep for you. And then we're going to start getting into some fancy stuff. And then we're going to kind of keep going with the 6-figure agent program. That's all I got today. Appreciate you. Talk to you all later. Bye.